Imagine if two random movies collided in the multiverse. Do you think it's possible? Well, you're here now and pondering the question, what if? Welcome to Movie Mashups, another episode where I take two franchises and flip the script, creating a brand new storyline. 28 days later meets Spider-Man 3. Now, what if the virus in 28 days later was of alien origin? And what if it had infected Spider-Man? Or what if symbiote Spider-Man had to fight off the fast-moving infected people from 28 days later? What would happen then? Sit back and relax, where I take you through this journey through the multiverse. Peter Parker had planned to propose to Mary Jane in Central Park when they went stargazing, and while they had been there, a meteorite landed that carried an extraterrestrial symbiote that followed Peter home, attached to his bike, while Mary Jane was infected by the virus. While Peter Parker had been knocked out by the symbiote, the infected Mary Jane had gone into an aggressive spree and started spreading the virus. The virus was spread by blood and induced rage, aggression, and cannibalism. And while Peter Parker had been out cold, the virus spread from Mary Jane to the populace of the whole city, and from there the chaos began to spread to the whole world. While Peter Parker tried to gain control of the symbiote, the world broke down. 28 days later, Peter Parker had woken up to a world that was almost totally deserted. His mind immediately went to Mary Jane and Aunt May. He didn't know that Mary Jane had been the origin of the world's destruction. He woke up wearing the symbiote. As soon as he went out, he immediately got attacked by the infected and fought back. He quickly defended himself against the zombie-looking people that attacked him. He also found out that because of the symbiote, the infected could not pass the infection to him. He had first gone to Mary Jane's house, but he didn't find her, and decided to go find Aunt May. When he got to the house, he found it was boarded up. Peter swung to the rooftop and went into the house. There he found Aunt May, and a few survivors were hidden. One of the survivors was named Jim, who had just woken up from a coma. He was in the same situation as Peter Parker, and had basically woke up after the destruction of the world. And Selena, who had fought her way through the whole infection with Aunt May. Peter found out that the infection began to spread from Upper Manhattan, which was Mary Jane's side of town. This only made him more worried about Mary Jane. Peter then decided to find Mary Jane, but MJ had been patient zero, and that night the infection started. While he had picked the alien symbiote from a meteor that fell, it was almost likely that Mary Jane took its baggage, which was the infection that had raged the world. While Aunt May and Peter had gone out for a supply run, they had ran into a man named Frank, who was a cab driver. He was with his daughter after they helped them fight through a whole horde of infected at the mall. They learned that there was a safe zone around the upper side of Manhattan, and with the general supplies in town mostly already looted and running out, Frank suggested that they tried to get to a safe zone. They agreed and immediately traveled towards the safe zone. While the others moved in a group of 2 cars, Peter followed closely, swinging behind them. As soon as they got to a military blockade, Parker watched the soldiers kill Frank. In a panic, he rushed down to defend the rest from the soldiers. But on getting down to meet them, he was informed that Frank had been infected. They were escorted to a fortified mansion by a major named Henry West, and getting there, they found out that the place was being run by Harry Osborn, who was the owner of Oscorp. He had kept the place secure because he had promised a cure, and he had been given protection by the Sandman, and Flint Marko in this universe had already become the Sandman leading up to the events of the symbiote. Harry had initially gotten amnesia and forgot that Peter was partially responsible for the death of his father, Norman Osborn. Speaking with Peter in private, he opened up about the cause of the virus, and as Peter had been fearing, Mary Jane really was Patient Zero. Harry told Peter that he had her chained up somewhere in the mansion, alive, and he had to go through the pain of experimenting on her to try and find a cure. He also told Parker that in case that didn't happen, he had a backup plan. They owned it to humanity to repopulate the Earth after the virus and the infection had already died out. He then opened up to Parker about why the safe zone had more women than men. They planned on, if necessary, forcing the woman to repopulate the world. Peter couldn't believe it. He was taken aback by everything. He made it clear to Harry that he did not agree with his ideologies, but he also made it clear that he was not going to stand by and let Osborn do whatever he wanted. Harry immediately ordered the Sandman to attack Peter. The Sandman fought Spider-Man hard, and seeing that he could not defeat the Sandman, Peter broke Mary Jane's shackles and released her. Mary Jane then attacked Harry, and while the Sandman tried to defend Harry from MJ, Peter used the diversion to escape. The soldiers attacked them as they tried to flee. They had thrown a sonic grenade towards Peter and his group, meaning to distort them, not knowing that it was one of the symbiote's weaknesses. This affected Peter, but also enabled the symbiote to look for a new host. It infects Jim, Selena, Hannah, and Aunt May, making them immune to the rage virus, but also making them more powerful and controlled by the symbiote. Together, they attacked the Sandman, who tried to block them from escaping. They ended up throwing the Sandman in the factory's furnace and turned him into glass. They then allowed MJ to eat Harry and Major Henry West, while they went further to slaughter all of the soldiers in the safe zone. Freeing all of the imprisoned women used as a slave. After another 28 days, Peter and the others were able to clear the blockade of all the infected in its area, making it very safe. They also noted that the infected were dying of starvation naturally. They sent messages through radio frequencies to any other survivors that might have been out there, inviting them to the safe zone so they could fight the infected all over the world together, ending it once and for all. While Spider-Man would permanently be attached to the symbiote, Parker would wake up one day, and he would have sharp claws, sharp teeth, and he would eventually become Venom. That is all for this fan fiction for movie mashups, where I combined the Spider-Man 3 storyline with 28 Days Later's plot. Now, what did you guys think of this insane mashup? I know that Peter might not have left Harry to die, but it was already too late. He couldn't do anything to save his best friend, and he already felt that he was turned to the dark side from the Goblin Serum. We also show MJ as Patient Zero and how it affected Peter when he learned that she became a cannibalistic rage monster. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys enjoy this series of movie mashups, and as well, do make sure to subscribe, like, share, and turn your notifications on so you and your friends are all up to date with the latest content. But anyways, as always guys, thanks for tuning in and have a fantastic day.